Drill down for us, Mr. Ambassador, the key issues here, then the pillars, what the pillars of the CFTA would really be like, and what does it mean when we consider the various currencies across the continent? How will this impact our currency issues? How will it impact on various macroeconomic border issues, customs area, and what have you, including the Secretariat, of course?
Oh, thank you.
This looks very huge.
It is huge, and the gains are potentially massive for the country, but we've still got work to do. But again, thank you very much for the podium that you've given the government to talk about this, because I must admit also that our communication on this has not been ideal. But in terms of the institutions that would implement and underpin the African Continental Free Trade Area, at the apex of it, think of a small box, would be the framework agreement that would establish the African Continental Free Trade Area. Draw a line from that top box down and then put in 3 sub-boxes. There will be a protocol on trade in goods, there will be a protocol on trade in services, and then there will be a protocol on the rules and procedures for the settlement of disputes. If you go back to one of the 3 little boxes, that's the protocol on trade in goods, there shall be bossing annexes, an annex on rules of origin, which has provisions that will make it possible for Nigeria or for any other member to catch those who would like to disguise the rules of origin of products that are being transshipped from non-African members of the CFTA. So you have an annex on rules of origin, an annex on veterinary rules, sanitary, phytosanitary measures. You have an annex on trade facilitation, on transit and customs cooperation, and then something else I think that you like, at least a number of the stakeholders that we like do absolutely love, and that would be the annex on trade remedies, where you would have provisions for anti-dumping, countervailing duties, and global safeguards, to counteract those that continue to attack Nigeria through trade predatory economic activities. So overall, this is what the structure would look like in terms of the rules. Then, as you pointed out, there shall be a secretariat, as you have for the Secretariat of the African Union, which is called the African Union Commission Secretariat, or you have the African Court of Human and People's Rights in the Gambia, or you have the new partnership for African development, accommodated and located in South Africa. So there shall be a secretariat that would implement and administer the African Continental Free Trade Area. The mandate that we've got from the Federal Executive Council under the authority of our president is, let's go for it and make a competitive bid.
Nigeria is bidding for the Secretariat. So the CFTA isn't just a piece of paper, but technically an organization.
It's got flesh and blood. It's real.
Brick and mortar.
Brick and mortar. It's got foundations, pillars, rafters, and we'll take it up in levels. It's real.
If Nigeria, I'm sure you'll be part of the lobbying group for Nigeria to get the Secretariat located, whether in Lagos or Abuja, wherever it is, but at least within the 4 corners of this country. How does that benefit us?
Of the CFTA?
Yeah, no, CFTA if we get a Secretariat.
Think about the internationalization of the Nigerian city where the Secretariat would be. Think about the money, the expenditure of the delegations that would be accredited to that Secretariat. Think of the monetary effects for Nigerian landlords, for providers of services. Think about there's no other word to use, think about the civilizational effect of a multicultural presence that it would have in a Nigerian city. There are vast gains, employment, service provision, welfare benefits, you name it, it will be there. And think about the consolidation and augmentation of Nigeria's standing, not just on the continent, but in the global economy.
And a few folks are already on Twitter watching this interview, and they're asking a few questions and expressing some of their concerns. One of them on Twitter, Olushola Olufolabi, is looking at, with this Africa Free Trade Agreement, Nigeria economy is going to be grossly disadvantaged. This is his view, by dynamic countries like South Africa that assembled most car brands, and Europe may just manufacture in Morocco and South Africa and ship to us duty-free. Do you share his concern?
No, but Olushola, I think, if I got his name correct,
yes.
Olushola Folabi is right to suggest, and this is what I understand, vigilance on our part, alertness on our part, and preparedness on our part. And this would be the way that I would interpret his question. He's concerned, in my view, in a very patriotic way. So thank you, Olushola. Olushola, listen, trade is about competitiveness. It is about engagement. I don't know if you like soccer. I don't, actually, but every now and then I watch it. If you play a defensive game for regulation time and into extra time, it doesn't matter what happens, you will lose that game. And so playing a game is about being strategic and intelligent, that you're in part defensive, but you are largely offensive. There are risks, but everything carries risk. Life and the economy and markets are not about a riskless undertaking. So we need to be aware of the competition, but we have to compete and play competitively. And so the real question there, Olushola, is what have we done as a country in a public-private partnership? Because the challenge is not just for the government alone, could never be. What have we done in a public-private partnership to prepare for the competition? You have the Industrial Policy and Competitiveness Advisory Council that was initiated by our president and approved by the Federal Executive Council. The Vice President, Professor Shimbajo, chairs it. There are two Vice Presidents. On the private sector side, Alhaji Dangote, frankly, not just one of the best in Africa, the best in the world, and then Atedo Piti side. On the public sector side is Minister Enelama and Minister of State Aisha Abubakar. And you have both the public and the private sector. So we've created an institution there to do what? To make sure that our trade policy, what we negotiate, is connected to industrial policy. If the two don't mesh, it won't work. So let me reassure you that we are keeping an eye on the competition. Who is we, or who are we? The we, it's the government, it's the private sector, and I believe that we are doing the things that need to be done. But remember one final point. Every Nigerian must be an ambassador for this country. It's not only those who carry a placard or who have a certificate or a letter of commission like me from the president who are ambassadors. Every Nigerian must be an ambassador for this country. What am I saying? If you have trade and economic intelligence, pass it on. But we're moving in the right direction, and I think we are punching and doing good body blows to our competitors.